So it's very inspiring to see so many people come through the rain to hear about compassion. So that's what we'll be talking about this evening. I always like to start with the prayers, the recitations we do to set our mind in the right way. And so when we do these, we aren't just going blah, 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 but we're to empty space. We're imagining the Buddha surrounded by all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the space in front of us, and then ourselves surrounded by all sentient beings. And when you surround yourself with all sentient beings, it's not just the people you like, and you put the people you don't like in the very last row. But when we imagine, sitting in the presence of the three jewels, then the people that we don't get along with, that we don't trust, that really bother us, we put them right in front of us. So they're facing the three jewels, and we have to look at the people we don't like, the people we consider enemies. We have to see them when we see the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Okay, so there's no way out of it. Because the kind of compassion that we want to cultivate in the Buddha Dharma is one that encompasses all living beings, regardless of whether we like them or don't like them, whether they help us or harm us, but simply because they're living beings who want to be happy and not suffer with the same intensity that we want to be happy and not suffer. Now think about that a little bit, because especially with the people we don't like, we think they deserve suffering, don't we? You can be honest. You're looking so innocent. I don't think anybody deserves suffering. Except this one who I can't stand, and that one who stole my boyfriend, and that one who got the promotion, and when I didn't. But everybody else I love. Right. Yeah, you think I'm going to believe that? So this is a skillful technique, that if we want to see the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, we can't ignore the people we don't like, the people we're afraid of. We have to be able to look at them and see their humanity and develop compassion and love for them, just as we have love and compassion for our friends and relatives. Nobody's walked out yet. I guess that's a good sign. Sometimes you say things people don't like and they're like, gone. So let's have the motivation of bodhicitta as we share the Dharma together this evening. So the wish for sentient beings to be free of a cyclic existence and all the troubles and problems in it, and to have happiness. And then from our side, having love and compassion for them, committing ourselves to bringing about their liberation and their full awakening by ourselves first attaining awakening. So it's a long-term goal. It's quite an expansive motivation. but it's also something that's quite noble and quite beautiful. So take a moment and have that bodhicitta motivation. So I think many of you have received teachings from Lama Zopa, and you know that his talks consist mostly of the motivation and then the last 15 minutes about the topic that was advertised. And this talk is about compassion, so the whole talk is going to be about our motivation. Okay? So first we have to ask ourselves, what is compassion? So in the Buddha Dharma, there's a very simple definition. It's, at least it's a few words, okay? It's the wish, the aspiration for living beings to be free of dukkha, dukkha being the suffering, the unsatisfactory conditions of samsara. So it's the aspiration that beings be free of that dukkha and its causes, okay? And that goes together with love, which wants sentient beings to have happiness and its causes. So here, love is very different than the kind of love you hear about on the radio, yeah, or on the, well, nobody listens to the radio nowadays. On your iPad, on your some device, you know, the one you plug yourself into all day. So, yeah, wanting sentient beings to have happiness and its causes, this love, wanting them to be free of dukkha and its causes is compassion. So it makes us ask, to start with, okay, what is, in the case of love, what is happiness? Yeah. Now, knowing Singaporeans, the little bit I do, happiness is, first thing, it starts with an M. Money. Okay, that's actually what people think is happiness all over the world, you know, money. I don't know. If you have a lot of money here and you look at it, are you happy? It depends whose money it is, doesn't it? Okay. So we have to really ask us, you know, is money happiness? Does it really bring happiness? So in Buddhism, when we talk about happiness, there's the temporal happiness that we find in samsara, okay? So having good health, having the four requisites, food, clothing, shelter, medicine, having friends, yeah, having just the worldly pleasures, that's called happiness. The cause of happiness, temporal happiness in samsara, at least in the human realm, we think of as money. Yeah, I think we need to question that, actually. Yeah, you can have a ton of money and be very miserable. You can have very little money and be quite happy. Okay, now I know you think that I'm lying. Yeah. But, you know, if you've lived in other countries, you can see that there are people who don't have what we have, but are happy. And if you look around here at all the wealth here, you can see people who have a lot and who are miserable. Okay, so that's talking about temporal happiness. Yeah, the other kind of happiness is Dharma happiness. transcendental happiness. It's the happiness of having a peaceful mind. It's the happiness of having a meaningful life and feeling fulfilled in our life. It's the happiness of having no regrets when we die and being confident that we will have a good rebirth. Okay? That kind of happiness has nothing to do with money. Mm-hmm. Compassion is similar. Okay, so compassion's the wish for beings to be free of dukkha and its causes. So it has a temporal aspect, yeah. So dukkha would be you don't have enough food to eat, you're ill and there's no doctors or medicine, there's no roof over your head, you're homeless. Yeah, you live in a war-torn country where there's no safety, no security. So that would be temporal suffering, yeah, what we ordinarily consider suffering. Then there's no transcendental suffering, yeah, because once we've eliminated the cause of the dukkha, our mental afflictions, then the suffering, the dukkha that they perpetuate and cause again and again, no longer comes, and rebirth in samsara is abolished once and for all. Okay, so that's like a definition of compassion, yeah. Is it easy to develop compassion? When people are nice to you, yeah, then, yeah, we can have compassion for them. Yeah, we want them to be happy. But the minute somebody isn't nice to us, I wish you got hit by a truck. You know, one of our really nice aspirations, you know. May Buddha, may they get hit by a truck. No, don't ask Buddha for that. Okay, and don't even try and think about it yourself, because putting that kind of anger and resentment and grudge holding in your own mind is just making you miserable and will make you create more negative actions which harm others and plant seeds in our own mind that cause our own future suffering. Okay. So compassion, wanting others to have happiness and be free of dukkha and its causes. Now, when we say the word compassion in modern society, there's a whole lot of misunderstandings about what compassion is. And I'm going to go through some of them. You know, one of them is, if I'm compassionate, it means I'm kind and I give people whatever they want, and then they're going to walk all over me. I'm going to be the world's doormat. And no way am I going to be the world's doormat. No way are people going to take advantage of me. Yeah. So I will not be compassionate. I will put those people in their place and make them suffer so they have a taste of their own medicine. We're really nice people, aren't we? Yeah. Would you want to have yourself as a friend? Think about it, some of the thoughts that go through our mind. Yeah. Would you want to be a friend with somebody like yourself? Okay. So compassion does not mean that we're weak. Yeah. It doesn't mean we just say, Oh, poor you, whatever you want, I will sacrifice and make sure you have it. Yeah? That's not compassion. That borders on pity and condescension. Yeah? I am so compassionate, and you poor slob who can't get your life together and get yourself in so many problems that I've got to come to your rescue again and again and again, you jerk. So I'm going to help you again, and don't you forget it, because you owe me a favor now. Okay? That is not compassion. Okay? We think that if we're weak, we have to, maybe we have to be like that, help people because we pity them and we've got to give them everything they want and at the same time resent them for it. Okay. Now, I think some of you have studied Shantideva's text, the Bodhisattva's deeds, engaging in the Bodhisattva's deeds. And Shantideva has this beautiful analogy of when you step on, he says a thorn, okay? I think in Singapore, with all the construction going on, you step on a rusty nail. Okay, anybody besides me ever stepped on a rusty nail? A few people. It's not fun, okay? So the foot steps on the rusty nail, and the hand, just goes down and pulls the rusty nail out of the foot, puts it in the garbage so nobody else steps on it, and life continues. Okay? The hand, why does the hand help the foot? Because they're part of the same organism. Okay. Now, why is that different than when we help somebody else? If we pity somebody, then we're like the hand saying, you stupid foot, why don't you look where you're going? Yeah, again, you stepped on something and I have to spend my time fixing you, the hand says. So the hand says, okay, I'll pull the nail out. But remember, foot, you better help me because I did you a favor. Okay? That isn't what the hand does in relationship to the foot because they're part of the same organism. Why do we do that with other people when we're all part of the same world? We're all part of the same body of living beings. Yeah. We should help each other the same way as the hand helps the foot. Help somebody, their suffering is finished, life goes on. You don't expect praise, you don't expect a thank you, you don't expect a present in exchange for your help. Because the happiness is in the giving. The happiness is in seeing somebody's misery being alleviated. Yeah. So even they don't say thank you afterwards, you don't care. Yeah. I once had a friend, a young man, who he started seeing double, and it turned out that he had a brain tumor. He was in his early 20s, and he was going to have surgery on his brain to remove the tumor. That's a little bit scary, isn't it? So he was a friend, so I really, tried to do my best to take care of him. Not physically, because we lived in different places, different states, but to talk to him, to ask him how he was doing, to encourage him to do his Dharma practice, and to help prepare him mentally and spiritually for the surgery. Okay? So we did that, He went into the surgery, with an optimistic mind, with a calm mind. He came out, the surgery was successful, which was a great relief. But after that, he didn't contact me very much. It was like, and okay, that's a little bit beyond what we would consider polite. But actually, when I thought about it, my happiness was not dependent on him thanking me or sending me a card or a present. It was on the fact that he was well now, and the tumor was gone, and he had his whole life in front of him. Okay? So don't confuse compassion with pity. And don't confuse compassion with being weak. And like, oh, whatever you want. Yes, you're an alcoholic. Oh, you asked me for some money. I know you're going to use it for alcohol, but it doesn't matter. Here's some money. Go buy yourself a bottle of booze. Because, if I don't give you the money, then you're not going to like me. How much do we do things that are not compassionate? Giving somebody money to go buy alcohol is not compassionate. Taking them to rehab and paying for the rehab, that's compassionate. But so often somebody wants something that's not good for them, but we're so afraid that if we give it to them, they're not going to like us. If we don't give it to them, they're not going to like us. Okay? This is the situation of being a people pleaser. How many of you are people pleasers? That you do all sorts of things, not because it's the right thing to do, but because you're afraid if you don't, people won't like you. And people liking you is the most important thing in the world. You don't want anybody to say anything bad about you, even if it's true. They should lie and cover up our mistakes. As if what people say about us must accurately reflect who we are. So they all have to like us. That's one of our rules of the universe. Everybody has to like me. And I will do whatever you want so that you like me. And we get ourselves into a lot of problems that way. We get, maybe somebody we know is doing a kind of illegal business deal, but they're our friend and they ask us, please come and invest with us. There's this great way we're going to make a ton of money. And you think, oh, I better do it, because if I don't, my friend's going to feel bad. They're not going to like me. There's some seats up here. You can come sit up here. I don't bite, so you can sit close. Yeah. Um, yeah, there's 2 seats there, a bunch of seats over here. Okay. So we invest in the dirty business deal that our friend is doing so that we don't hurt their feelings. And then, yeah, we're doing something illegal, we get arrested for it. Yeah, and then we have a whole bunch of problems. But why did we do it? Well, they're our friend, and they've got to like me. Yeah, if I don't do this, they won't like me. And they'll say bad things about me behind my back. And that's absolutely the worst thing that can happen. Yeah, come on. Really? That's the worst thing that can happen? Somebody doesn't like you? It's a free world. Let me tell you, there's going to be a lot of people who don't like us. Yeah. Now, we can say, well, that's because they're stupid. Okay. But, you know, maybe they're not stupid. Maybe we did something inconsiderate. Yeah, or we cheated them, or we lied to them, or who knows what. Okay? So, compassion does not mean being a people pleaser. Yeah, because the motivation for compassion has to be one of care about the other person. And that care isn't the short term, it's the long term. That we're going to do for them what is best for them in the long term. Okay? And so sometimes, yeah, the best thing we can do for somebody in the long term is to hold them accountable for what they're doing, which they may not like, but it could be the best thing for them. Yeah? But if we help them in the short term and cover up their mistakes and ignore their illegal activities, yeah, they may like us, but that's not compassion, because we're not really working for their welfare in the long term. Okay? Also, you know, compassion doesn't mean being weak. We can hold our ground, yeah, without being nasty, without being mean, and just, you know, somebody wants something and we don't think it's good for them, we just have to say no. That's it. Yeah. And if they create a fuss, oh, you're my brother, sister, mother, father, you better rescue me from this situation, you know, and then we say, oh, if I let them do that, you know, if I do that, then they're walking all over me. That's what compassion is, letting somebody walk all over me. That's not compassion, that's foolishness. Okay, here I often give the example of a woman who is getting beaten by her husband, yeah? And, you know, it's not compassion. He beats her, and then the next day she says, oh, it's okay, dear. Yeah, I know you just got a little bit angry, you know, so it's okay, I forgive you. Then that night, he beats her again. And the next day, she says, oh, I love you. I forgive you. It's okay. And then the next night after that, he beats her again. Yeah. Is that compassion? Just every time saying, oh, it's okay? You abused me, it's okay. Forgiving him is, like that. No, that's not compassion. That's foolishness. Yeah. Somebody beats you, you're out of there. Yeah. Especially if you have kids. Yeah. For the sake of your kids, for the sake of yourself, for the sake of the person who is abusing you. You don't hang around, If that person comes back later and apologizes, if they get treatment so that you're sure that they will behave differently in the future, then, yeah, you can reconcile. You can always forgive them. It doesn't mean holding a grudge, yeah. But you don't, compassion is not just letting somebody harm you. Okay. Then what else? Oh, yes, this is another one. People think compassion means that when somebody else is suffering, you're suffering too. Oh, 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 you broke your leg. Oh no, this is terrible. I can't stand to see you. You're walking on crutches. Oh, I feel so bad. Oh, this is terrible. I mean, what can I do? I want you to be better. I can't stand to see you like this. Oh, I'm so worried. I'm so worried. I better do something. What should I do? I don't know what to do because I'm so worried. Okay, you see people like that, yeah, who get this is called personal distress. I can't see you suffer, so I'm distressed. I get upset. I get worried. Yeah. Now, when somebody else is suffering, yeah, when I have personal distress, who am I thinking about? Who's the star in my personal distress? Hello? Hello? Who is the star of the show when you fall into personal distress? It's ourself, isn't it? Yeah. Compassion is focused on the other person. So if we get all bummed out and what some people call compassion fatigue or compassion burnout, we get distressed seeing people suffer. Then that's not, we think it's compassion because we're suffering. And we even say, oh, the English word compassion etymologically means comb, means with, and passion means suffer. So being compassionate means I suffer with you, and I am suffering so much that I'm so involved in my own suffering, I can't do anything to help you. Okay? Yeah. When we get so involved that, we're just frantic and distressed, we can't help anybody. We're an emotional wreck. Okay? How many, I'm going to ask a different question here. You have to tell the truth. How many of you worry about your kids or your parents or some dear one? You worry, your mind goes round and around. Okay. Who's the star of the show when you worry? Who are you concerned with when you worry? Oh, and now I know how to make everybody be quiet. Yeah. When we worry, we're in personal distress. Yeah. I was once with my niece when she was really little, and I asked her, like, what's love? And she said, it means you miss people and you worry about them. Well, having come from a family with a mother who worried about everything, may I plead with you who are parents, you're concerned about your kids, please don't worry about them. Yeah. When you worry, you're giving the responsibility for your happiness to your child. And they carry that around with them. Like, oh, if I make a mistake, Mom and Dad are gonna worry about me. They're gonna be unhappy. And so they limit themselves. Yeah, they try and figure out what Mom and Dad want and do that and be safe at all cost. Yeah, but that really can be very confining for a kid. They don't learn, they don't explore. And even the child's being safe, you still worry about them. Okay? When I was a teenager and I started going on dates, yeah, I had a curfew. I had to be home by midnight. All my friends could stay out later. I had to be home by midnight. And I knew that if I came home 1 minute late, my mother would be on the phone calling the police saying, my daughter's been kidnapped. She's been in a traffic accident. Go find her. Because my mom would be freaked out and worried. Even I was sitting in a car in front of the house. Yeah. That was a big burden for me. Yeah. So you teach your kids safety, how to be safe, and then relax. Because your worry does not prevent them from getting hurt. Your worry just makes them stressed out. Okay? Okay, so compassion is not personal distress. Okay, we always also talked about compassion isn't pity, and it doesn't make us people pleasers. Oh, here's another one of what compassion isn't. We think compassion means fixing other people's problems. Yeah? You have a problem? Just tell me. I'll fix your problem. Yeah? Don't you love those people who meddle in your life and want to fix everything in your life that they think is a problem that you're totally okay with? Don't you love those people, Well, what about when we become those people? You become Ms. Fix-It or Mr. Fix-It, and you meddle in their life, yeah, and give them all sorts of advice that they do not want. And you even, call the people that are involved in their problem and try and fix the thing up. Yeah. Is that being compassionate or is that being obnoxious? There's a difference between being compassionate and being obnoxious. Okay? So compassion doesn't mean that we fix everybody's problems. Yeah, there's a little saying that I have to revise this. The saying is not vegetarian. Well, I'll tell you the saying and then you'll realize. The saying is, if a hungry person wants a fish, don't give them a fish, teach them how to fish. In other words, give them a skill rather than fixing their problem. But I am not telling you to eat fish, okay? Better to save lives, okay? But, you know, compassion doesn't mean you fix their problem, yeah? Instruct them, yeah? Direct them, counsel them if they want the counsel. If people don't want advice, don't give it. I know, that's hard. Yeah, that's hard because it's so evident that what this person is doing is so obviously stupid, yeah, that we've got to tell them not to do it. Yeah. And what happens when you tell your friend that what they're doing is stupid, when it's obvious that they're doing it and they don't want any advice? Yeah, what happens then? What do they say to you? Oh, thank you very much, you're so kind, I'll follow your advice. No, they say, get out of here and mind your own business. Okay, so we have to really watch it when we give advice, because sometimes it is so tempting. You know, somebody's doing something that you really disagree with, and it's like, I've got to tell them not to do that. But then it just fractures the relationship. So sometimes it's compassionate not to give the advice. Yeah. And then people learn through their own experience. Hopefully they learn through their own experience. Yeah. If they don't, then even if you gave them advice, it wouldn't do anything. Yeah. Okay, so compassion does not mean fixing other people's problems. Oh, here's another one. Compassion, we think compassion is ineffective in opposing injustice. In other words, when there's injustice in society, yeah, if we're compassionate, then that's not going to fix the social problem. We've got to be angry at the people who are doing this, and we got to denounce them, and we've got to protest, and we've got to yell and scream, and we've got to even fight wars. Yeah, because what these people are doing is so terrible. They're harming so many people, so I'm going to harm them, because if I'm compassionate to them, that's not going to solve the problem. Okay? As if violence solves the problem. So I learned this lesson very early on, thankfully. When I was at university, the Vietnam War was going on, and there were massive demonstrations and protests all over the place, including on college campuses. And so I was at one protest, one demonstration, and we were all lined up here, and the police were some feet away, lined up there with their helmets and their batons and all that stuff. And so, you know, protesting, saying slogans and so on. And then the guy standing next to me picked up, I don't know if it was a brick or a rock, but he picked it up and he threw it at the police. And at that moment I said, your mind is now like the mind of the people we're protesting against. We're protesting against people who are, want a war and who are killing other people to get what they want. Yeah. And you're throwing a rock at the people that you don't like, trying to convince them to stop that war. So your mind is exactly like their mind. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's not the way to do it. This was before I became a Buddhist, And then, of course, when you start reading the Dhammapada, one of the biggest things the Buddha says is that hate is not resolved by hate, it's resolved by love. Okay? And His Holiness the Dalai Lama really embodies that in the way that he's dealing with the takeover of his country, Tibet, and the occupation by the Chinese Communist government. And he's constantly telling the Tibetans, don't hate the Chinese Communists. Yeah, I mean, if you think about what happened, they took over Tibet. There was a kind of ethnic cleansing in Tibet. There's environmental destruction. Yeah, they totally ruined so many monasteries and made monks and nuns disrobe. Yeah, and as a result, tens of thousands of Tibetans fled into exile in India. And His Holiness constantly tells them, do not hate the Chinese Communists. Yeah. Can you imagine that? What do most countries do? What's going on in Syria right now? Do you read the news? Yeah. Yeah, that the rebels just overthrew the government and, they were fighting a war. They didn't have much resistance, which meant that not so many people got killed, but they were, before that, killing a lot of people. Yeah? Okay, so His Holiness's philosophy is, you've got to, if you harm the people that are your quote enemies, or the people who are harming you, that's only going to inflame the situation. Yeah. And we see that all the time. Look what's happening in the Middle East. Hamas, on October 7th of last year, did their little escapade, and harmed so many Israelis. Then the Israelis retaliate and kill even more Palestinians. And Hamas sometimes continues to shoot rockets into Israel. And then Hezbollah gets involved and attacks Israel. And then the Israeli army again fights with Hezbollah. And where does it end? It doesn't end at all. Nothing gets resolved. Just incredible numbers of people die because of violence. So that is not the answer. Okay? Compassion, hasn't resolved the situation with Tibet, but at least not so many people have been killed. And hopefully in the future, there can be reconciliation. We don't know. Okay. in case you're wondering what I'm looking at, is some time ago, some kind of professional journal asked me to write an article about compassion. And so that's what this is. And we wanted to give you the revised edition of it. Do we have the link?
It's not up yet, the revised.
Okay, so we'll find a way, we'll find the link to the revised edition, which should be somewhere on my website. And then we'll tell ABC, and then hopefully they can let all of you know, okay? So then, how do we practice compassion? So they talk about compassion in the Pali tradition, in the Chinese Buddhism, in Tibetan Buddhism. Compassion is a big theme throughout Buddhism, yeah? In the Chinese tradition, especially in Chan, they have 4 vows, which I will read to you, yeah? Countless are sentient beings, I vow to liberate them. Endless are defilements, I vow to eradicate them. Measureless are Dharma doors, meaning Dharma teachings. I vow to cultivate them. Supreme is the Buddha's way. I vow to attain it. What do you think about that? Is that something you want to vow? Yikes! Me? Do all that? Yeah, and then you hear Lama Zopa say, yeah, what does he say? I will lead all sentient beings to liberation by myself alone. You heard him say that? And you're sitting there going, Rinpoche, can I have some help? You know, I don't think I can lead all sentient beings to awakening by myself. I want somebody to lead me. Yeah? And then he says it again, you know. We're going to dedicate the merit so you can lead all sentient beings to full awakening by myself alone. Now, I'm taking my hearing aids out, you know. This is too much. And sometimes when you read the scriptures, what bodhisattvas vowed to do, what they promised to do, oh my goodness, it's like, how can anybody promise that? Yeah, and we go, you know, yeah, I'm vowing to lead all sentient beings to liberation. You know, that's impractical. I can't do it. I'm only one person. There's countless sentient beings. I can't do it. Anyway, there's already so many Buddhas. They should do it. Yeah, and they should lead me in the process of it. Yeah, after they lead all sentient beings to liberation, then I will promise to do it, because it's already done. Yeah. Yeah. And please, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, I'm suffering in samsara. I don't know what to do. Please rescue me. Yeah. Do you think the Buddha can swoop down and grab your hand and take you to enlightenment? Do you think enlightenment is some place? Yeah. So this is when you become a Christian. Okay. Oh, all I have to do is believe in Jesus when I die. Everything is taken care of. Really? Really? Yeah, if he was supposed to save us, how come we're not saved already? Okay, so we do the same thing with the Buddha. You know, we expect the Buddha to swoop down and save us. Yeah. And then we go to the temple. Okay. And well, okay, enlightenment is too much to ask for. Anyway, what I really want is a new car. So you go to the temple. Buddha, 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 please help me to have, please help me to people so that people give me some money so I can buy a brand new car. One of these really big ones that hog the whole road. Yeah, and that are difficult to to park. I want one of those cars because everybody else has one. So Buddha, 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 please make it so I can have a car. And if you do, I will make an offering to the temple. Okay, and then you wait. Yeah. If you get a car, okay, then you give some flowers to the temple. There's not even a food offering. Buddha's gonna starve, you know? And he gave you you got a car and you're not even offering some apples and oranges and bananas and pears. Oh, yeah. But if you don't get the car, then, sorry, Buddha, no offering to the temple. In other words, you deliver first, then I'll pay up. Okay, that's doing business with the Buddha. Okay, that's not the kind of mind we should have when we make offerings. Okay, when we make offerings, we should be offering because giving feels good. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. When I taught in Singapore in 87 and 88, yeah, long time ago. Many of you were in your previous lifetimes then. So I realized sometimes, yeah, especially on Sunday mornings, we had Dharma class and then we would have lunch together, that many people brought food that when they came to the temple, they put it on the altar. And just when it was time to eat lunch, they took it off the altar. Did you really offer it to the Buddha, or did you just put it there so nobody else would eat it before you got to it? You know? When we offer something, we offer it is no longer ours. And then the other person can do what they want with it. Yeah. Now, when you make offerings to the Buddha, if you're the caretaker of the altar, yes, you have to take the things down the next day. You don't want dead flowers and rotten fruit, complete with the cockroaches and the ants. Yeah, who will be very happy to take those offerings down for you. And then you can eat them. But when you offer, you just offered. Okay? So bodhisattvas make all sorts of aspirations. Yeah. Sometimes the word for aspiration is translated as vow, like Amitabha's vows, Medicine Buddha's vows. Those are actually aspirations. Yeah. So Bodhisattvas aspire for all sorts of impractical things. Why? Because when they do that, they really, from their heart, wish they could do those things. Yeah. Wouldn't it be wonderful if you could liberate all sentient beings from samsara by yourself alone? Wouldn't that be wonderful? That if you had the wisdom, compassion, power, skillful means to liberate, to lead everybody to liberation. Yeah, that would be wonderful, wouldn't it? Okay? Even you can't do that. You aspire for it, because when you aspire for those things, your mind, your heart expands. You think really big. Yeah. Countless are sentient beings. I vow to liberate them. I aspire to liberate them. Yeah. Now, some people, I've been to some places where people say, oh, that's totally impractical. Totally impractical. Bodhisattva vehicle, becoming a bodhisattva, totally impractical. Yeah, I just want to become an arhat and get myself out of samsara and be done with it. Yeah. How can I liberate all the sentient beings? But there's some big change happens in our heart when we can think really expansively like that. Even if it's impractical, even if right now we can't even liberate ourselves, let alone all sentient beings. We aspire to do that, yeah? We have our attention focused on full awakening, becoming a Buddha. If you live your life with your ultimate goal, becoming a Buddha, that's where your focus is, then the problems you have this life are not a big deal. Yeah? Oh, I stubbed my toe. Oh, I have to have surgery. That's not a big deal, because I've decided I'm going to Buddhahood. And how fortunate I am to have met a path that works. How fortunate I am to have met the Buddha, an enlightened teacher who can lead me on that path. Yeah. Then problems in this life are not a big deal, because you know the meaning of your life, you know where you're headed. Okay, makes some sense to you? Try thinking expansively like that. Yeah, not just, I want my new car, please. Can Santa give it to me? We're not little kids anymore. Yeah. And you might just wind up with a little baby car in your stocking, Okay. Endless are defilements. I vow to eradicate them. All the afflictions of sentient beings. Yeah. Ignorance, anger, attachment, jealousy, arrogance. Yeah. Laziness, lack of integrity, carelessness, lack of conscientiousness, lack of communication, consideration for others. Well, we can go on and on about our defilements. There's 84,000 of them. Oh. 84,000? I have to eradicate all of those? And those are just the afflictions, the subtle remnants of the afflictions, yeah? The subtle dualistic view, the latencies of the afflictions. That's even harder to eliminate. But first we got to get rid of the afflictions. Yeah, and that's hard. When I'm angry, when you're angry, is it easy to control your anger? No. When you are really attached and you really want something, is it easy to control your greed? When you really don't feel like doing something and you just want to sit there and be a couch potato, is it easy to get yourself off the couch? We have trouble even doing that. And we're saying, endless are defilements, I vow to eradicate them. But again, yeah, and this is eradicate, not just mine, but everybody else's, yeah. Again, it's very expansive to just think, yeah, I want to eliminate all my own afflictions, all my own polluted karma. I want to eliminate all the afflictions and polluted karma of all living beings. I want to even eliminate the cognitive obscurations, not only of myself, but of all living beings. This is enormous, yeah? And it's impractical to think we can eliminate everybody's. But let's start with our own and start eliminating our own afflictions, our own cognitive obscurations. And again, we know this is, the same as aspiring for liberation. Yeah, removing all the defilements, the same as aspiring for Buddhahood. So like I said before, that's our goal in our life. That's what's giving meaning to our life. It doesn't matter how long it takes. We're going to have a lot of rebirths in the future if we, until we become awakened. So let's dedicate all of our energy and all of our future rebirths to this endeavor to get myself and others out of samsara. Yeah? And then we have a really meaningful life, don't we? Even we can't do that now, yeah? By aspiring for that, when we finally get to Buddhahood, we'll be able to do so much good. Yeah? And even now, when we die, we'll feel satisfied with our life. Yeah. No regrets, no fear. That would be nice, wouldn't it? And we know someday we're going to die. That's a given. Yeah. So if we can prepare for death that way, then they say it's like going on a picnic. Measureless are Dharma doors. Dharma doors means the antidotes, the teachings, yeah, that will help us overcome our afflictions and the subtle obscurations. Measureless are Dharma doors. I vow to cultivate them. So there's 84,000 afflictions. There's 84,000 Dharma doors. Don't ask me to list them all. Okay. But this is what they say. And I haven't really read the list of all 84,000. Yeah. But it just means a lot. That's good enough for me. Okay. But, to be able to learn all the Buddha's teachings, wouldn't that be wonderful? To know all the antidotes, whatever bad mood you were in, you knew exactly how to work with your mind to resolve that bad mood. Yeah. Whatever difficulty you were having, getting angry, holding a grudge, being overwhelmed by attachment and greed and clinging and craving, or, oh, the burning fire of jealousy. Ugh, that's one of the worst ones, so painful. But you know the antidotes. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, you know what the Buddha said, yeah? And he didn't say, you know, take a pink pill. He says, think like this, yeah? Focus on this. And then he gave a teaching. So even if we learn just one Dharma door, one teaching, it's a huge help in our life. Huge help. Yeah? And then we can use it in our life to make our life more peaceful now, to make the world around us more peaceful. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then the last one is supreme is the Buddha's way. I vow to attain it. So by practicing those first three of the great vows, then it leads to the fourth one, attaining full awakening. Yeah? And then it's going to be real easy after that. Because, yeah, when you're a Buddha, you just automatically, well, you never have afflictions and bad moods and negative emotions. And the good you want to do to others just naturally flows. You don't have to sit and think about it. Oh, my friend just had a breakup. What do I do to help them? You know, Buddhists don't need to sit and cogitate about those things. Buddhists just know it's natural, and they know what to do to help somebody. Would be nice, huh? Okay, so with that, that's a little bit about compassion. Not everything, there's more, but I think that's good enough for tonight. We have a little bit of time for questions and comments. If you would like to say something.
Thank you. It was such a engaging talk. I'm so grateful I came tonight, even in the rain. So I'd like to thank you for coming all the way to Singapore, and I've benefited so much from this informative talk. I have a question about compassion and wisdom and insight. I read something recently. It says, it's very simple, but it struck me deeply. It says, compassion without wisdom, it leads you to burnout. But if you have insight and wisdom and you have no compassion, then you are just disengaged from everything and you see all the problems in the world. So you have to combine compassion and wisdom to make a difference. Yeah. So my question is, where can someone find this wisdom, and how do you balance it with compassion? In your long years of practice, I wonder if you come across any way of balancing it and some sources of wisdom that we can all benefit from.
This is a good question. Yeah, so balancing compassion and wisdom is really important. And they go together rather nicely, actually. There's one kind of compassion that Chandragirti talks about in his supplement to Nagarjuna's Middle Way. And he talks about three kinds of compassion. And the third one, is compassion that when you see sentient beings as empty of inherent existence, okay? So you meditate on emptiness and you develop the insight that can realize emptiness, either conceptually or directly. So you have a correct understanding of emptiness. And then when you come out of that meditation, right away you turn your mind to sentient beings. And you see them as empty, and you see that they're grasping at true existence, the opposite of emptiness. Okay? So when you do this, when you see sentient beings as empty, first of all, it lets you know that change is possible, that their afflictions are not an inherent part of them. Yeah? And so bodhisattvas are always optimistic. Yeah? Because they know whatever problems there are can be solved. Maybe not right away with the snap of the fingers, but the source of all of our difficulties in samsara are the afflictions. What is the root of the afflictions? Ignorance. What does ignorance grasp at? Inherent existence. Does inherent existence exist? No. What does wisdom realize? That there's no inherent existence. So wisdom can overpower the ignorance. Yeah? So that means that change is possible. Liberation is possible. Yeah? So then when we see sentient beings experiencing dukkha, we don't get depressed, we don't get discouraged. We know that there's a cause for their misery, and that cause can be overcome. Yeah? And then, you know, when you really see how sentient beings have that incredible potential to generate wisdom, but what are they doing? Anything but cultivating wisdom. Yeah? They're going to work and working overtime. Yeah? To get more money. Yeah? Which doesn't make them happy because their brother or sister has more money and they're jealous and they never have enough money. Have you noticed? Do you know anybody who has enough money? You can always use a little bit more. It doesn't, look, you know, Elon Musk, you know, Jeff Bezos, they're billionaires billion times over. Do they have enough money? No, they need more. Yeah? So, you know, here's the opportunity to practice the Dharma and overcome problems, and sentient beings are wasting their time. Yeah? So then your compassion becomes really strong because they have this potential and, yeah, look what they're doing. Yeah? Okay, so that's one way to put compassion and wisdom together.
Hi, thank you so much for the talk. I'm glad to be here. I have just one quick question is, because the first precept is to abstain from killing, right? So let's say, for example, if someone were to run a country and, you know, he might want to, you know, set up like an army to defend himself and whatsoever. So, like, for example, I learned of the story of Nalanda University. And I heard what happened to them. They were destroyed by invaders. So wouldn't it be wise in this case that, you know, maybe they take out some arms in a way to
And
kind
kill
of
some people.
Yes, I don't know what's
That's really effective. Yeah? These people are taking over our monastery, so let's commit a root transgression and lose our ordination to protect a monastery, but there won't be any monks in it anymore because they've all broken a root precept. Yeah? We have different ideas. Yeah? Because, you know, when you think short term, yes, kill the enemy, kill somebody before they kill you. But when you think long term, yeah, if I kill, what kind of rebirth am I going to have? I'm going to be born in a hell realm. Can I help anybody when I'm reborn in a hell realm? Yeah, if you're born in a lower realm, even not the hell realm, if you're born as an animal, can you help anybody? If you're born as a hungry ghost, can you help anybody? So you save the monastery, but there's no monks, and in your next life, you're in a lower realm, and you can't do anything to help anybody, not even yourself. Okay? Yeah. It's not easy. Yeah. This is why we say samsara is dukkha. It's full of these horrible circumstances that really put us in where our ethical conduct is really on the line, you know? It's difficult.
Okay, if I kill him, I go to the lower realm, right? But if let's say he kill me, he will go to the hell. I mean, if I kill him, he will not go to the hell. Can I think this way?
Yes, if you're a Buddha, you can do that. Because then you can kill without any hatred.
Yes. Okay.
Otherwise, little bit dicey, huh? Okay?
Venerable, thank you. Can you help me put the concept of compassion in the Noble Eightfold Path in that wheel? Can we start with the right view? So we generate the right view. I want to save all sentient beings. Then I need to have an intention. Then how do I then complete the entire wheel?
Yeah. I think compassion is most identified with the second one, right intention. Okay? Because you want to make your intention compassion. And then with that intention, then you can complete the other seven. Okay?